I'm Taylor Reeton, and coming up on WVU News, I'll tell you about an alternative that may help smokers kick the habit.
I'm Ian Moore, and straight ahead on WVU News, I'll tell you about one habit that's preventing you from getting a good night's sleep.
I'm Lauren Procopio, and coming up, I'll tell you about a deadly habit that's taking the lives of many West Virginians. Our award-winning WVU News starts now.
Prescription drug abuse. More people die from overdose in West Virginia than any other state. Find out what's being done to save lives and help addicts recover. I'm Andrew Seeley, and welcome to our healthcare and wellness edition of WVU News.
And I'm Taylor Eaton. In this week's special edition show, we will focus on health issues that affect you. These stories and more straight ahead on WVU News.
Lauren, understand that a national report says more people die from prescription drug overdose than illegal drugs such as heroin or cocaine combined.
Government reporter Lauren Procopio joins us now in the studio to tell us more. Lauren.
Thanks, Taylor and Andrew. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says more than 6 million Americans suffer from prescription drug abuse disorder. And this growing epidemic hits close to home, with West Virginia leading the nation in overdose fatalities. I recently found out how users battle addiction and what's being done to prevent abuse. Prescription drug abuse takes the lives of more than 500 people a year in West Virginia. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, addiction commonly starts in your teens. One recovered addict says he started abusing at a young age.
And through high school, I ended up getting into a whole bunch of pills because basically they were easy to get a hold of.
People become addicted to over-the-counter pills because they seem safer than illicit drugs. Though John Spraggins, a drug therapist, says it's just as easy.
I've had people using over $200 and some dollars worth of pills a day.
Over 6.1 million Americans abuse prescription drugs each year, and of that, only 1 out of 10 receive the necessary treatment.
Even though I've got multiple years clean, I still get fleeting thoughts that I now realize aren't a solution, but my brain's wired to go ahead and think that I need to go ahead and take some kind of drugs to make the day better.
Because when you become an addict, your brain is changed.
There are different counseling services available to aid addicts in their recovery.
If I go to the meetings on a regular basis, if I get a group that I attend regularly, and if I work the steps with another individual, we can go ahead and stay clean.
If you or someone you know suffers from addiction, visit the website at the bottom of your screen. Earlier this month, the Food and Drug Administration approved a new drug called Evizio, created to reverse the effects of a narcotic overdose. Andrew and Taylor, back to you.
Thanks, Lauren. The FDA is questioning whether e-cigarettes really are safer than traditional cigarettes. I spoke with one e-cig user about the recent health debate.
Smoking. Something Stephen Velchek knows all too well. Addicted to cigarettes for almost 10 years, he switched over to electronic cigarettes to help kick the habit.
Whether or not it's a crutch for me, I don't know yet. But what I do know is I like having the control of I'm able to control how much is in there.
Vaping, the alternative to smoking, is easy. Users simply buy a bottle of e-juice, put it in the cartridge, turn it on, and inhale it like a normal cigarette.
What separates e-cigs from traditional cigarettes is that they are tobacco-free. But the Food and Drug Administration sent an official warning stating chemicals in e-cigs, including nicotine, may still pose major health hazards. 4 states, including Utah, North Dakota, Arkansas, and New Jersey, have included e-cigs in indoor smoking bans. But these recent concerns won't stop Velchek from using them.
First of all, I can breathe better. I mean, it feels better. I don't taste like crap every time I smoke, which is kind of nice.
Traditional cigarettes cause almost 500,000 deaths per year. But officials warn that without long-term studies and data on e-cigs, it's hard to tell if they really are a safe alternative.
Since e-cigs were recently introduced into the United States, officials say it could take 15 to 20 years to determine long-term health effects, including cancer.
The Affordable Care Act, commonly known as Obamacare, became law 4 years ago, but its economic impact remains unclear. Obamacare was created to give more Americans affordable, better quality health insurance. Since 2010, it's helped around 3 million young adults ages 19 to 25 get coverage, but some say it's doing more harm than good to the economy.
Logistically and financially speaking, I think the Affordable Care Act is very bad for this country. It just doesn't work. And secondarily, I think it's a violation of our American rights.
The law is expected to cost the government around $1 trillion in the next 10 years.
In efforts to comply with the Affordable Care Act and help students get the health care they need, WVU will offer its own health insurance plan for students starting this fall. All students taking 6 or more credits at WVU and WVU Tech will be required to have a health insurance plan this upcoming school year. Students will automatically be enrolled and charged for WVU's plan on August 8th. You can opt out of WVU's plan if you have your own insurance or are covered through your parents starting in June. All you have to do is visit the Student Insurance Office's website and fill out the waiver provided.
The average American will see nearly 20 different doctors in a lifetime.
That's right, Andrew, but did you know lack of sleep could be sending you to the doctor more often than you think? Ian Ward is here to tell us more about a common mistake we all make that affects our sleep. Ian?
Thanks, Andrew and Taylor. College students are known for staying up late, but more than 40% of them say they fall asleep unintentionally. I recently learned about one way we can all get a better night's sleep.
Less than 25% of college students are getting the recommended amount of sleep, and a recent study claims that the way we use smartphones may be part of the problem. Colleen Harshbarger, director of the Office of Wellness and Health Promotion, believes this is a serious problem for college students.
We survey students every February to ask about health behaviors and what gets in their way of academic performance. And every year we've done this survey for the past 5 years. Students identify sleep as top 1 or 2.
According to the National Institute of Health, looking at your smartphone before bed can prevent you from getting a good night's sleep.
Because the blue light from the screen suppresses our brain's production of melatonin, the chemical responsible for making us feel tired. WVU student Samantha Kaufman regularly uses her phone before bed and has trouble sleeping and keeping up in her classes.
When I don't get a lot of sleep for a couple days, it builds up and it definitely puts I get really lazy and tired and I really don't want to do anything, which kind of makes me cranky and not want to do any work, which also affects my homework and studying.
Sleepless nights can also affect your health, leading to higher risks of heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and arthritis. Sleep experts say to get back on track, spend some time before bed winding down and only use your bed for sleeping.
The National Sleep Foundation also recommends keeping a consistent bedtime and avoiding caffeine at least 2 hours before bed to get a better night's sleep. Andrew and Taylor, back to you.
The number of college students seeking counseling on campus is at an all-time high. A national report says 1 in every 10 students is getting help for mental health issues such as anxiety disorders and depression.
And with finals week just around the corner here at WVU, reporter Zach Vora found out ways to help students cope with stress.
Take a deep breath and relax. Things like homework or studying can stress you out.
School definitely stresses me out, but I'm an engineering student, so we always have a lot of projects and work to do, but I'm also involved in a lot of student orgs, so time management skills and keeping up with all of that, I tend to get stressed out with that.
Well, WVU found that stress is the #1 hindrance to college students.
When we look at data about behaviors and thoughts and what gets in their way, and it definitely was solid that stress was a topic area that we needed to address with students.
Not managing your time effectively can be a major source of stress. That's why the Chill Well program developed the Well Go calendar. This allows students to analyze their schedule to find ways to reduce stress.
Being active reduces your stress, like taking yoga classes or running on a treadmill. I also try to hang out with my friends, and I think being around other people lets the stress go away.
If school has you stressed out, don't worry. Chill Well can help. Zach Vora, WVU News, Morgantown.
When most of us think of therapy dogs, we often associate them with helping the visually impaired.
But therapy dogs can also help us alleviate stress. I sat and stayed with the most recent addition to the engineering team. Meet Marlon Brando, a 5-year-old Australian Labradoodle who works as a therapy dog at the College of Engineering and Mineral Resources.
It's really nice to have the dog there. He very much is, you know, when you come in, you're going to say hi to him, and you're going to be like, oh, hey, Brando, how's your morning going? And that's how I am with him, at least.
And Brando is more than willing to say hi to anyone he meets. Even though he was trained as a service dog, Brando was just too social to be matched with just one person. His role as a therapy dog allows him to bring together an entire community.
He's making us feel a little bit more like a family and less like a giant institution, which is what my goal was in the first place, was to make it where we're caring for the student as a whole, not as, you know, someone who's earning a grade, but as a person.
Every year here at the Statler College of Engineering, there are roughly 900 incoming freshmen. Brando is here to make sure that this is a stress-free environment.
He takes a little bit of stress off, you know. He gets you a little bit diverted from your work for maybe even that 2 seconds, which is enough to almost not reset you, but, you know, really help you get back on track and not have to be so in tune in your work that you get stressed out.
Brando's only been working for the college for about a month, but everyone says he makes school feel more like home. And Brando isn't the only therapy dog on WVU's campus. Students can also visit the Caruth Center's dog, Gretel.
Sports anchor Joe Mitchin joins us next to tell us about the unsung heroes in WVU athletics.
Straight ahead on WVU Sports, I'm Joe Mitchin, and I'll tell you who is getting West Virginia athletes back on the field quick.
We're all different. Our interests, our backgrounds can influence our futures. But without focus, they're just dreams. But what if someone could give your interests life? If they could give your background power? If they could fuel what motivates you? That's what gives dreams meaning, purpose. And perhaps that was the moment you knew you wanted to be a mountaineer.
Head injuries in football are nothing new. Players have a 75% chance of getting a concussion in a game.
Sports anchor Joe Mitchin is here to tell us more about the safety issue. Joe?
Well, Taylor and Andrew, the NCAA sees an estimated 4,000 concussions a year due to football injuries. But the actual number is hard to tell because federal law doesn't require coaches to report them. According to a national report, Mountaineer football reported 5 concussions this past season, but they actually had 12 cases. Nationally, more than 40% of football players who suffer a concussion get back on the field too soon, putting athletes at risk for permanent brain damage. Head WVU athletic trainer Dave Kern says a concussion brings on dozens of symptoms not long after the initial impact.
A player could have solely a headache or have some headache and dizziness, have some sleep disturbance, have personality changes, difficulty concentrating.
The NCAA enforced a new ejection rule last season, stating a player must leave a game after a helmet-to-helmet hit. There are more than 2 million sports-related injuries last year alone. I caught up with the people at WVU who help, heal, and prevent the many Mountaineer injuries. Recovering from an injury is tough for any athlete, but here at WVU, 10 athletic trainers for the school's 17 varsity sports dedicate themselves to getting an injured athlete back as soon as possible.
As you're going through rehab, especially a post-surgical rehab where you're spending so much time with the athlete, you do get emotionally invested and want to see them get back as soon as possible.
Recent advancements in sports medicine and performance testing have WVU athletes getting back on the field quicker than ever before with help from their athletic trainers.
The workouts, anything, they were my practice partners pretty much. Anytime I would come into practice, I wouldn't even go to the coaches, I'd go straight to them and they'd tell me what I'd be doing for the day.
Athletic trainers at WVU deal with athletes at their most vulnerable state and continue to commit themselves to getting them back after going down. Athletic training has become one of the most highly demanded jobs in America, and with today's medical equipment and advanced surgical procedures, these men and women could be relied on even more in the future. Andrew and Taylor, back to you.
In addition to working with WVU varsity athletics, students in the athletic training program also work with WVU club sports.
That's right, Andrew. There are so many great programs and people dedicated to student health and wellness here at WVU.
Well, that wraps up this special edition of WVU News. Be sure to visit us online at our website. You can also watch any of our shows on YouTube.
And don't forget to follow us and our reporters on Twitter. Thanks for watching WVU News. We'll see you next time.